this happens to be the hard disk. I will just tell this happens to be the hard disk. Within this hard disk, 100% this computer would be connected to this hard disk. This computer would be connected to hard disk. Whatever the files are there, whatever the files you are observing, inside this hard disk, inside the hard disk. Is it possible to store those files inside the hard disk? Please tell me. Is it possible to store the files inside the hard disk? 100% yes. Not a thing. You can store video file, you can store your text file. All these days, I was storing the Python file, yes or no? I used to store .py, or your Java terminal would have stored .java, something like that. Assume the best example. You will watch some video on the internet. Fine, you'll just watch some YouTube video on the internet. If you want to watch the data permanently, don't you think you'll just save the data which is available in the YouTube onto your hard disk drive? Yes or no? That is how the things would work, right? That means try to understand. Right now, in the interview, if they're asking why files, in the interview, if they're asking why files, what is the use of files? What should be your answer? In the interview, if they're asking why files, what should be your answer? Please tell me. Okay, I can just tell like this. Files are used to store the data permanently. Files are used to store the data permanently within the hard disk drive or whatever it may be. It's up to your wish. You can just store the data within your hard disk drive or within the portable hard disk drive, whatever it may be. But files are basically used to store the data. Okay, sir, what next? If you just consider the heading, whatever I have written, the heading happens to be very simple. File handling, or some of them would be calling it as file operations. Some of them would be calling it as file operations. Yes or no? Maybe your Java terminal would have thought file handling or file operations. Almost it is same, file handling or file operation. Let us just consider, you have observed what do you mean by a file. What is this handling? What is this handling? That means I have to handle that file. Make sure that everyone are sitting in front of one notes as well as one pen. I will tell when to take the notes also, I will tell. You just keep on listening to things, that's all. Okay, for observe carefully. What do you mean by handling? Maintenance, very good. There is a file, I have to handle that file. That is the reason, don't you think? In case of Python, it may be any other programming language. In any programming language, if the data has to be stored permanently, then 100%, don't you think that particular programming language should support file handling? Yes or no? I would like to write that point, whatever I have told. In any programming language, just tell, in any programming language, in any programming language, if the data has to be stored, if the data has to be stored permanently, the data has to be stored permanently, then 100% it should support file handling or file operation. In any programming language, if the data has to be stored permanently, then it should support. It should support file handling, or some of them might be calling it as file operations. Sir, what is this file operation? All those things we will see. You don't worry about that. Okay, sir. Right now we got the clarity. In any of the programming language, if you want to handle the file or if you want to handle the data, 100% we have to make use of file handling. Okay, sir. This is fine. Please tell me when you will go for a file. That is very important. When you will go for a file, in order to store what kind of data you will go for a file? Assume that there is a file. When you will go for a file, please tell me. When you will go for a file. Guys, please do respond. Okay, a huge amount of data. Guys, do you think speak from the perspective of the software engineer, guys? Please don't speak from the perspective of the normal person. If there is small amount of data, okay, sir, what kind of data? It may be any data, it may be image, it may be video, it may be text file, it may be anything. At that point of time, don't you think in order to store small amount of data, you'll go for a file? Okay, sir, what next? In order to store moderate amount of data, moderate amount of data in real world, what I'm speaking from the perspective of IT, I'm speaking, that is information technology. In order to store some small amount of data, 100% they'll be going for file. In order to store some moderate amount of data, moderate means it may be huge, That is less than huge. Please tell me what they'll go for. Already I have studied. Very good. Very good. Very good, guys. Very good. That means in order to store moderate amount of data, don't you think they'll opt for database? While explaining database, that means PDBC, 100% I will give you the clarity why they have to go for database. This is not the right time for me to speak all those things. Okay, sir, in order to store huge amount of data, assume that in order to store huge amount of data, okay, in today's world, in order to store huge amount of data, maybe in the Python demo class, I would have told, in order to store huge amount of data, what they will go for? Very good, very good. They'll go for big data or cloud. You can just tell cloud or big data. I would like to tell big data. That means those data would be stored in the form of cloud. Very good. And that means, please see here. I would like to give the example. Just tell me the example when you'll go for a file. I can just tell like this, a simple Python program. Whenever you want to store some simple Python program, you'll just go for a file. Yes or no? If I want to store a simple Python program, what you will do? You'll just store in a file. Okay. I can just tell like this. Assume that if I want to store the details of a person, details of one person, 100% I'll go for a file. Assume that I just want to store my details. Name happens to be Sunday. Something like that I will just tell. Yeah, next. Listen carefully. Or I'll just tell the next one. When you'll go for database, assume that if I want to store the details of the complete organization, very good, the details of the organization. If I want to store the details of complete ABC organization, 100% instead of taking the file, I would be going for database. Okay, sir, when they will go for big data, it is very simple. Assume that if you want to store the details of, I should not tell Amazon audio file and all. No. Audio file might be small amount of, guys, I'm not differentiating. Have I told anything about it may be audio file, video file? No, I have not told anything. I'm just speaking. If it is small amount of data, they'll go for file. If it is moderate amount of data, they'll go for database. If it is huge amount of data, they'll go for big data. Okay, sir, what kind of data? Assume that details of Amazon customers. Don't you think the details of Amazon customers across the worldwide, do you think it's a small amount of data? No, 100% no. Do you think it's a moderate amount of data? It's a moderate amount of data. 100% no. Why? Because a huge amount of data will be there. And that is the reason they have to go for what? Big data. Okay, sir, next what? Right now, I will explain this database. I will explain this while speaking about PDBC, that means Python to database connectivity. Right now, my concern is towards the small amount of data. That's all. That means, once again, please tell me, in order to store small amount of data, what we have to make use of? Yes, very good. We have to make use of a file. Right now, we will start with file handling. Guys, any doubt? That means what is file handling? When we have to go for file, when we have to opt for file, we will see 100%. We will see in detail about file handling. You don't worry about that. Right now, this is what the small introduction that I have to give.